Chapter 17 on the road starts with a very beautiful cover of the beast Otsutsuki Judes Shiki. We later learn that the mission Sarada was heading to is a task assigned by the former Hokage Lady Tsunade. Should Sarada succeed in this task, she will have more chances of becoming Hokage than ever. We do know, guys, that Kakashi is severely sick in this story and Naruto is nowhere to be found after his fight with Momoshiki. Tsunade goes further into details as she explained the mission to Sarada Uchiha. You do perfectly understand, Sarada, that the council have their own plans for a suitable candidate for the post-Hokage. To be zealous and have privileges do not concern the Council of Elders, Sarada. This is why I want to offer you a very peculiar task. Should you succeed in this, their chances will dwindle and you will be first candidate right away. Sarada embarks on the mission as she further explains the steps to her assistant. Sarada explains, "The task is simple but only in words. Our main objective is to obtain concrete proof of these illegal experiments performed on people by sectarians within this circle. The need to do everything quietly within the mentioned terms is an obligation. Therefore, after a little reconnaissance of the drawn beasts, I decided to send Inogen back to the sky to monitor the situation from above. And inside I will do everything alone. Our mission details reveals that the shortest way into the bunker is through the ventilation system. As Sarada scouts the area, she quietly observes 5 guards on duty. Sarada draws a conclusion that these guards are newcomers, so they would not expect anyone to come to them through the ventilation. This will only work in my hands. The operation starts now." Sarada throws the distraction shuriken and just like that easily takes care of business. She is very skilled. She took down 5 soldiers like they were nothing. There is also a dark side to this because when we take a look to the next page, we see that Sarada cleans her weapon from the blood. She actually killed them all. Keep in mind, guys, that Sarada is a part of Umbu, and as we know, the Umbu do not mind killing during missions. Sarada infiltrates through the ventilation system as her assistant Inogi takes shelter within the skies. Sarada kept crawling deeper and deeper into these ventilation system. Keep in mind, guys, that Sarada's primary task is to obtain proof of illegal experimentations that has been going on for a while now by this unknown organization. Now, what happens next is very interesting. Sarada sees someone in an incubator. She gets extremely shocked. Now, who could this man be? The next page, we are shown Judes Shiki and the other female named Sophie. Judes Shiki seems to be holding in his hand some kind of parasite. Now, this is actually very interesting. The female asks Judes Shiki what was that noise. We do know that in the previous chapter, Judes Shiki took the girl's arm off because she tried to attack him. Now Sophie is as surprised as the rest of us while reading this chapter. She asks Judes Shiki if he is out of his mind, but Judes Shiki has actually a very good reason for doing this. Remember, guys, that Judes Shiki is actually very smart and he does have cold calculation. Judes Shiki carries on to explain the reason all of this happened. This is the parasite that caused the pathology itself. While inside the organism, it takes control of the human host, also giving him the Otsutsuki abilities. The Ishiki servants did a good job constructing and planning this. Judes Shiki further explains, if I didn't pump it with my chakra, you would never be able to see it. And despite their size, these worms can significantly increase and take the capabilities of an average person to completely different level. I will try to develop some countermeasures. It's better that I will study it myself. I don't want to take you on apart on this table here. Judes Shiki here means that if the parasite caught in Sophie's body, it would be extremely difficult to take it out because he does not have any countermeasures for now. Being infected with these parasites is a risky procedure and it will be problematic. If there are other methods and other people who have already countered it, we must find them as fast as possible. We need a sample. We need an infected living host with the parasite. Sophie replies, I remember one case certainly. There is one refugee in the upper ranks of the Shinobi Alliance right now. This Ishiki's test subject is not just a refugee anymore. He has become one of the strongest in the Alliance. They are talking about Kawaki here. Sophie continues he freely uses the Otsutsuki abilities and at the same time he has kept his head focused. Not a single occurrence in the moments you have described one of Ishiki Otsutsuki's most valuable subjects. Exactly. This is the adopted son of the seventh. I won't if he does possess a parasite inside of him. Does this mean that he is fully in control or possibly he was swallowed and lost control? If that's the case, then he seems to be really genetically unique. Maybe on the same level of Hashirama. It would be possible that he does in fact have an antidote within his cells. Sophie said that Judes Shiki had already decided everything. Judes Shiki adds, "Come on Sophie, I left the worm biopsy for you. You can work on it." And the seventh son need to urgently go visit a doctor. The events are getting more and more interesting. It seems that Judes Shiki is planning on bringing the seventh's adopted son even by force to see if they can construct some form of antiparasitic drug. Judes Shiki knows that if he is to kill Kawaki, the shinobi's alliance will significantly weaken. Sophie replies that Kawaki would rather die than strike a deal with an Otsutsuki member. You better just forget it. Judes Shiki replies that he will think of something. Let's get now to the most important part of this chapter, and that is the appearance of Madara Uchiha. If you guys remember the last time we saw Madara when he was infected by some kind of Otsutsuki injury after his fight with Ishiki. Now he seems like he regained his strength thanks to Shiro. He is enjoying his meal along with the portal manipulator. Shiro asks Madara why did he decide to go fight the Otsutsuki alone without any hesitation. Madara stays silent for a minute and then replies, "Do you even know my story or are you just asking?" Madara adds and take off that mask. "I have already played enough with these masquerades." Shiro decides to take off his mask. Madara seems slightly surprised. It's really hard to know who Shiro really is behind the mask. Madara continues, "I will answer your question. Not everything that is written in the textbooks of history is true. I have always strived for peace. If the world needs me, I will come to the rescue. But I've already been dead for a long time. I have nothing left to lose." Then a maskless Shiro said that was a comprehensive answer. "Allow me to gift you something, Madara-san. If this is a trophy, I do not need it." Shiro replies, "This is no trophy. This is a fragment of the horn of the Otsutsuki you killed. I have successfully managed to pick it up before the dimension collapsed entirely and was drowning in fire. This will be useful to you. A fragment of a purebred Otsutsuki is capable of creating an interference of completely mask the chakra of its host, which in turn will prevent the sensors from detecting you. Now, probably only Otsutsuki are capable of doing this. Of course, it is up to you to decide, however, carrying this item will help avoid additional casualties because now you have a more philosophical view on the world." Madara takes the item and thanks Shiro, and for the first time I think we have a name for the masked portal manipulator, and his name is Wide. I'm not sure if this is a new name or it could be an error while translating because Shiro in Japanese means white. So maybe Madara said thanks White/Shiro or Wide could be his real name after all. Madara prepares himself and heads towards the next destination in an epic shot that is Konoha. The end of the chapter reveals Narita getting attacked from behind by someone that seems very similar to Code, and then the chapter ends. Thank you guys if you made it this far in the video. Give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. For the newcomers, you do not want to miss the incredible story of the return of the ghost of the Uchiha. Thank you again for your support. Also, for those who are interested, you can support me on my Patreon page. It would help me a lot. You do not want to miss the upcoming chapter. Have a nice day.